Okay guys, let's be honest here. I've never been a big fan of the Omega Seamaster 300 meter diver. However, with this watch, it's the first time it's caught my attention. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Alex and today we're going to talk about a watch that I've never really liked. However, with this one, it's the first time it really got my attention, and that's because of the green colorway, of course. So this is maybe not a popular opinion because, this is a really popular watch. Generally speaking, it's a dive watch within a price segment that's quite achievable for many people, and I'd call it a bit of a modern classic since the introduction in the mid-90s, and yeah, it was on James Bond wrist, for example. It's a popular watch, and it's, beside the Speedmaster, probably the most sold Omega watch in their collection. However, I've never really liked this watch, and we'll get into that soon. But what caught my attention with this watch was, of course, the green colorway. And I'm a sucker for green. I've mentioned this in some other videos on my channel, and they really did it good. I've caught a lot of flame in the past for saying that the Rolex Hulk is terrible since it's a mismatch, in my opinion, between the color of the bezel and the color of the dial. And Omega just got this one right. But of course, even though the colorway is great, I still have some concerns with this watch. So let's dive deeper into the green Omega Seamaster Diver 300 meters. As you know, probably by now, the specs are nothing new, but let's just run through them quickly. So we have the 42mm stainless steel case with a thickness of 13.5mm, a lug-to-lug length of around 50mm. The case is satin finished and polished in the typical Omega Seamaster case manner. So we have quite broad bevels on the lugs, which I like. It's a nice feature. Brushed case sides, we have the unpopular helium escape valve at 10 o'clock. We have a open case back that displays the caliber 8800. We also have the ceramic insert in the bezel with the Grand Fou enamel numerals. And moving on from the case, we have the star of the show, of course, the ceramic dial with superluminova in the indexes and hands. We have the wave pattern that they brought back to the latest update of the Seamaster 300, because there was a wave pattern, then there wasn't, and now it's back again. And this wave pattern really contributes to the whole appearance of the dial that I like very much. And it really is a nice dial to look at in different angles and lighting condition, because it really changes appearance. So it goes from almost black when it's darker to a very... It's not bright green, but it's a green that is, for me, the perfect green, actually. It's dark, but it's not too dark, and that's why I like it. We have the date at 6 o'clock that blends in nicely. There are also no date versions of the Seamaster model, but since it blends in pretty nicely, and for me, date is a big plus if it has one. The loom is good. We have blue loom for the hour markers and hour hand, green loom in the minute hand, and also green loom in the dot at the bezel at 12 o'clock. The hands is also one of these things that is a hate or love thing, I'd say, with the Omega Seamaster 300. It's like the helium escape valve. Either you like it or you don't. I've never liked these skeletonized hands. I think they are pretty ugly, actually, to be fully honest with you guys. And they are what they are. They've been there for like 25, 30 years soon. So, it is what it is. And they haven't changed them yet. I'd rather see some sword hands or something more similar to an older version of the Seamaster 300. But it is what it is. You get them either if you like them or not. On the watch I review today, we have the green rubber strap with the tang buckle. So as you might know, this watch is also available on the hideous stainless steel bracelet that I really don't like. I think it's one of the worst features with the watch. So I'm glad I didn't have to see that one today, but rather the beautiful green rubber strap that doesn't only look good, it feels really good on the wrist as well. And if you don't like the tang buckle, this watch is also available with a deployant clasp. So as you've heard by now, there are a couple of factors I don't really like with this watch. However, the movement, there's nothing to dislike. We have the Omega Caliber 8800, which is a master chronometer certified by Metas. Metas is a certification that's even tougher than the COSC certification. And you can read all about the Metas certification and what kind of tests the movement has to undergo to receive this certification. And that's quite impressive because we have, for example, the movement is resistant to 15,000 Gauss. 15,000. That's 15 times more than the Rolex Milgauss that is resistant to 1000 Gauss. So only there you have a great protection against magnetic fields, for example. You have a power reserve of the watch that's not great, but it's not terrible either. It's around those 48 to 60 hours that are in general the standard for watches. So it's 55 hours, and nowadays you see a lot of brands equipping their watches with a weekend proof power reserve that's 72 hours. So maybe the power reserve is on the lower end, but I mean, for me, this watch is a watch that's used as a daily wearer. So for most people, I guess there's not too much troubles with the power reserve. You can read a lot more about the certification and other stuff at Omega's website. Price-wise, on the rubber strap, which is the best option in my opinion, it's around 5,500 euros in Sweden. And it's okay. I mean, they have raised their prices very aggressively during the last couple of years. I don't blame them because you get a really well-built quality product with a very reliable and nicely finished movement for under 6,000 euros. And I believe it's a good option for the ones that's looking for a robust dive watch with a reliable movement. And this leads me into the pros and cons of the watch and how I see it, because as I told you in the beginning, I've never been really a fan of this model. However, with the introduction of this green colorway, it is the first time it actually appealed me. The pros on my end is naturally the green colorway. I think it looks fantastic. I like the way that they have matched the ceramic insert with the ceramic dial. There's no disconnection between different kind of hue or different finishes. It's homogenic, and that's the way it should be, and that's what I like. I like how the dial plays in light. I like the wave pattern. It's a lot of dynamic in this watch. I also like the rubber strap that feels really comfortable on the wrist, and it's also in the colorway. It matches the watch perfectly, and I think it looks really good with this green on green look. Also, of course, the movement. It's a very good movement, guys, and this is what Omega has done great with this watch. Despite the cons that are, for me, the skeletonized hands, I think they are way too outdated and way too ugly. 90s skeletonized hands. I think they should get rid of them sooner than later. I'm really not a fan of these hands. I saw another guy, he made a quick mock-up of how much better the watch could look with a different handset and also with the helium escape valve removed. For me, the helium escape valve isn't that disturbing. I mean, it's been present on the watch for like 30 years. You probably got used to it by now. However, when I saw this mock-up, I really felt that, yeah, it looks a lot better without the escape valve. Also the size, 42mm, it's a bit on the large end for me, and that's probably one of the factors also why I've never really looked at this watch. I'd prefer it a couple of millimeters smaller, maybe like 39 or 40 even could work. But for me, 40 plus watches in general are too big for my 16.5 centimeter wrist. And last but not least, even though I like the rubber strap, I usually prefer to buy my watches on a bracelet and then change the strap. And that's because of resale value for once, but also I enjoy a good bracelet on a watch. And even though they have made some small updates to this bracelet in the past, it's still a hideous bracelet. And I'm not afraid to say that because I really think it's ugly. That's my opinion, but I know many people agree with me as well. So the bracelet is a big downside for me, and it's a big turnoff, to be honest. But it is what it is. I'm glad that you at least can get this watch nowadays on a very nice and comfy rubber strap, but the bracelet really is a turnoff. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about the green Omega Seamaster Diver. I'm very interested to hear your opinions on what you like and don't like about this watch. If you feel as strongly as I do regarding the hands and the bracelet, it would be very interesting to know. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.